Namaskar students, welcome back to my another lecture. So in today's lecture, we will try to learn different transistor biasing technique. So if you recall my previous lecture, so I have explained different configuration of transistor, and in those configurations, we come to understand that base emitter junction of your transistor should be forward bias and base collector junction should be reverse bias for active region operation of your transistor, so that we understand from the DC load line. And when we draw the DC load line on output characteristics curve of transistor, then we can understand the different region of transistor, whether transistor is in active region or in saturation region or in cutoff region. So when base emitter junction is in forward bias and collector base junction that is also gone into the forward bias, then transistor work in a active region, in saturation region. If both junction is in reverse bias, then transistor basically go into the cutoff region. And if one junction is in forward bias, particularly if base emitter junction is in forward bias and base collector junction is in reverse bias, then transistor work in an active region. And this region of operation is basically called as a least distortion region or linear region of operation. So whenever you want to use transistor as an amplifier, your transistor must be properly biased. And in order to do that, earlier we have used two DC power supply. One DC power supply was connected between the emitter base junction and another DC power supply was connected in the base collector junction. And the connection was done by taking care of these forward bias and reverse bias conditions at both junctions. But there was some problem with those biasings, because as temperature increases, the collector current changes because of the change in the leakage current. So your Q point changes drastically. And as I explained, that individual parameter like beta for common emitter transistor and base emitter voltage that is also changes with temperature. So that means we have to configure our transistor in such a way that whether you are using common when you are using common emitter transistor, that if your temperature changes or if any parameter changes, input parameter changes in your transistor, that should not change the collector current, means that should not change the Q point of your transistor, and that is known as the stabilization of transistor. And another thing is that rather than using two DC power supply, can we use one power supply that will reduce the cost of transistor. So transistor biasing technique is basically technique by which one can stabilize the transistor with respect to temperature, and one can use one DC power supply in such a way that base emitter junction will be in forward bias and base collector junction will be in reverse bias. So there are 5 techniques like fixed bias configuration, and sometimes this is also called as a base bias configuration, emitter bias configuration, and then voltage divided bias configuration, collector feedback configuration, and emitter follower configuration. So one by one, we will try to learn these techniques. So let us start the fixed bias configuration or base bias configuration. So in base bias configuration, as I discussed, let us say this is a amplifier where we apply input AC signal and we get the output AC signal. And before applying any input AC signal, what we have to do, we have to stabilize the transistor first with respect to temperature, and this stabilize, and we should have Q point. That Q point should not change with respect of temperature, and even if you change the any input parameter, so that Q point should not change. That is what one. And Q point should lie exactly middle of the DC load line, then that will give the undistorted, yeah, undistorted output of your AC signal. And rather than using two DC power supply, one can use one battery DC power supply. So you take one DC power supply, what we call that is VCC, and the positive end of this plus VCC, that is connected, same single power supply that is connected with the base through resistor, and this plus VCC is also connected with the collector of the transistor, and the emitter, there is no, and emitter end is connected with the grounded. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram which looks like something like that. And the negative, if you remember, here I have shown only the positive end of the plus VCC, and negative end of the power DC power supply is not shown. That means negative end of the power supply is basically connected with the ground. That is, you have to understand in such a way that you have to understand that the negative end of the plus VCC is basically connected with the ground. So if you draw this DC equivalent circuit of this circuit, so here this is because both are connected, this base and the collector both are connected with the plus uh, VCC. So here plus VCC and plus VCC, that is plus VCC going through the base and plus VCC going to the collector and then emitter. So now if you check the polarity, that whether your transistor is properly biased or not. If you see, this is plus VCC and base is basically, this is NPN transistor, NPN. So this base should be connected with the positive terminal of battery. Okay, and the emitter should be negative with respect to base. So obviously, if you see here, the base emitter junction is in forward bias. So that means your base emitter junction is in forward bias. Condition is satisfying. And now if you see this another junction, that is base uh, collector junction, a collector base junction. So with respect to base, collector should be positive because NPN. If this N type of transistor, N type of collector should be connected with the positive terminal of battery, then your this base collector junction will be reversed bias. You see here, so plus VCC. So this plus VCC means that N type semiconductor connected with the positive terminal. So this is reverse bias. And remember, this voltage should be much greater than the base voltage. So this VCB, if you calculate this voltage drop VCB, that should be positive. Then that will give the collector base junction will be in reverse bias. So this means that single battery can be used to uh, to configure a transistor. So this type of configuration of transistor is known as the fixed bias configuration, and this transistor can be used as an amplifier. So if you try to analyze this fixed bias configuration, so if you can draw the circuit diagram for base emitter junction. So for base emitter loop, you see, so this is making one loop. So here negative terminal of battery, negative terminal of this battery is connected with the ground. So this means this is ground, this is ground. So I have drawn the circuit diagram again here. So this is negative terminal of battery, that is minus VCC, that is grounded, and this is emitter, that is grounded. So this ground and this ground, that is same. Okay. So this is plus VCC and this is plus RB, and this is going through the transistor. So let us assume that IB current is flowing through the emitter loop, through the base loop. If you see base emitter loop, so one can draw the circuit diagram. So that is current IB is flowing something like that. So you can write the Kirchhoff voltage law in emitter base loop. So if you write, so we can write that is, if you run the loop in anti-clockwise, so that is plus VCC minus IBRB minus VBE, that is minus VBE minus IBRB plus VCC equal to 0. Or if you run the loop clockwise, so that is plus IBRB plus VBE minus VCC equal to 0. So you can find out IB is equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB. If you know, if you are able to determine the value of base current IB, so value of beta will be given for common emitter transistor. So you can calculate the value of IC, that is collector current. So IC will be equal to beta IB. Now, if you have calculated one Q point of your transistor, that is IC is equal to beta IB, now you can apply Kirchhoff voltage law in collector emitter loop, in this loop. So because this is, if you see, so negative end of the VCC, that is also grounded. That means this point, this is ground and this is ground. So that is making another closed loop. So we can draw a circuit diagram, equivalent circuit. The circuit diagram will look like that. So this is emitter, that is grounded, and this is the negative terminal of VCC, that is grounded, and this is going through the collector resistance. So this is making a closed loop. Now if you apply Kirchhoff voltage law in collector emitter loop, so that is plus ICRC plus VCE minus VCC equal to 0. So now you can calculate, because IC is known, VCC is known, so you can calculate the VCE, so that output voltage can be calculated. If you calculate the VCE, that is equal to VCC minus ICRC. And once you are known to VCE, so we know VCE is equal to VC minus VE. This voltage VCE voltage equal to this voltage minus this voltage VE, and here there is no resistance at the emitter, that means emitter voltage is 0. If emitter voltage is 0, so VCE is equal to, that is VC, that is collector voltage. That means voltage at this point, a voltage at this point, that is equal to VCE equal to VC. And similarly, we know that VB, because base meter voltage that is known, if base meter voltage is known, that VB is equal to, can be written as VB minus VE, and we know that V is equal to 0, so VB is equal to V. Okay. Now, one Q point is IC, another Q point we know, that is VCE. So now once you set the Q point, if you are, now you are come to know that what is the Q point of your transistor, so you can use this transistor as an amplifier for a given applied input AC signal. So this is the theory part. So you can determine each and every unknown parameters, that is DC signals, before using an transistor as an amplifier by applying Kirchhoff voltage law in base meter loop and in collector emitter loop. In here we have only used one DC power supply, and connected in such configuration of connection is called as a fixed bias or base bias configuration. So let us try to solve one numerical problem based on fixed bias configuration. So numerical problem is given something like that. Example: determine the base current, that capital I capital B, capital I capital C collector current, VCE and VBC for the fixed bias configuration for the given circuit diagram. Okay. So if you look the circuit diagram, so if you see one DC power supply is there, and this positive end of the DC power supply is connected through a resistor to a base, and the same DC power supply is connected to the collector through a resistor, and the emitter is grounded, and that means another end of the VCC, that is grounded. So we can see that this circuit is basically a fixed bias configuration. So in order to calculate the base current, what we have to do, we have to apply Kirchhoff voltage law in base emitter loop. So like this condition, we have to find out the we have to find out the base current. So we have to apply the Kirchhoff voltage law in base emitter junction. So if you apply the Kirchhoff voltage law in base emitter junction, so let us assume that IB current is flowing here. So plus IBRB plus VBE minus VCC equal to 0. So that will give the IB will be equal to VCC minus VBE upon RB. So IB is equal to 10 minus 0.7 divided by 220 into 10 to the power 3 ohm. So that is 42.27 microampere. So we are able to know the base current. If we are able to know the base current, so I forget to write beta. So beta is equal to basically 50 is given here. So if value of beta is 50, so one can find out the value of IC. So collector current is equal to beta into IB, so that is 2.1135 milliampere. If IC is known, then we can find out, we can determine the value of VCE. So VCE is equal to VCC minus, by applying Kirchhoff voltage line collector emitter loop. So if you apply Kirchhoff voltage line collector emitter loop, so let us IC current is flowing in across the collector. So ICRC plus VCE minus VCC equal to 0. So that will give the VC is equal to VCC minus ICRC, that is 10 minus IC is equal to, we have calculated 2.1135 milliampere multiplied by RC, that is 1.2 kilo ohm. So this will, if you solve this, so you will get VC is equal to 7.4638 volt. So this voltage drop, that is output voltage, that is equal to 7.4638 volt. Okay. Now we know that emitter voltage is equal to 0. If emitter voltage is equal to 0, that V is equal to 0, so we know that for silicon, if transistor is made from silicon, so we know the value of VBE, that is 0.7 volt, and plus VCE that we have calculated, that is 7.46 volt. So we can calculate, we can find out the value of VC, and we can find out the value of VB. So VB is equal to, we know from the theory part, if you see, so VB is equal to VB is equal to VB for this fixed bias configuration. Why this is happening? Because V is equal to 0. Okay. So we can write VB is equal to VB, that is 0.7 volt, and VC is equal to VC minus VE. V is equal to 0. So VC is equal to VB VC, that is 7.46 volt. So this voltage at this point, that is VC, that is equal to 7.46, and voltage at this point, that is VB, equal to 0.7 volt. So you can find out the voltage drop across base collector junction. If you calculate the voltage drop across base collector, that is VBC. So VBC is equal to VB minus VC. So VB is known, that is 0.7 volt, and VC is equal to 7.4638 volt. If you calculate, so VBC is equal to minus 6.7638 volt. That means this base collector voltage, that is equal to minus 6.7638 volt. So this negative sign reflects that this base collector junction is in reverse bias, and this base emitter junction, that is in forward bias. That is condition what we want, that base emitter junction should be forward bias and base collector junction should be reverse bias. But please note that instead of calculating VBC, somebody might have calculated the value of VCB. Okay. If somebody is calculating the value of VCB, means voltage of collector with respect to base. So that is different, and voltage of base with respect to collector. So I'm saying same thing but in different way. So VBC is different, VCB is different. If you calculate the VBC, so that should be negative. That means base collector junction is reverse bias. If somebody do VCB, so then it will be VC minus VB, and then this number will be same, that it will come plus sign. So that means this collector base voltage is positive. So that means that is also in reverse bias, but base collector junction should be negative. That is also saying the same thing, that is in reverse bias. So that this negative sign reflects that the base collector junction is in reverse bias. That means transistor is properly biased by using single DC power supply. Okay. So similarly, another example I have taken. Determine the value of IBQ, ICQ, VCEQ, and VBC for the fixed bias configuration for the given circuit diagram. Okay. Here I have just changed the value of plus VCC, that is 12 volt, RB, that is 240 kilo ohm, RC 2.2 kilo ohm, and beta is given, that is 50. Okay. And otherwise everything is the same. So sometimes rather they are asking IB, IC, and VC, sometimes in question it may be asked that find out the value of IBQ, ICQ, and VCQ. That doesn't change the number. That is the same process. Everything is same. Just you have given different nomenclature, because this base current, collector current, and collector emitter voltage, this correspond to the Q point. That is why here IBQ, ICQ, and VCQ is written. Otherwise, problem is same. So now you have to find out the IBQ. It means you have to apply Kirchhoff voltage line base meter loop. If you apply, to plus IBRB plus VBE minus VCC equal to 0. So if you replace IB with IBQ, IBQ will be equal to IB will be equal to VCC minus VB upon RB. So instead of writing IB, here I am writing IBQ. So IBQ is equal to VCC minus VB upon RB. You substitute the value. So 12 volt minus 0.7 volt divided by 240 kilo ohms, so that is 47.08 microampere. IBQ is known. Now if IBQ is known, means IB is known, so one can find out the IC. IC is equal to beta into IB. So ICQ is equal to 50 multiplied by 47.08 microampere, that is given ICQ is equal to 2.35 milliampere. So now we have calculated input current, that is base current, and output current, that is collector current, now is known. Now you have to find out, you have to determine the value of VCEQ, that is collector emitter voltage. So in order to do that, you have to apply Kirchhoff voltage law in collector emitter loop, as I have explained in theory part. So this diagram you can draw separately. Even without drawing, you can apply Kirchhoff voltage law. So if you apply, so if let us assume collector IC current is flowing, so IC RC plus VCE minus VCC equal to 0. To IC is known, VCC is known, RC is known. So VCE is equal to, that is VCC minus IC RC. If you replace IC with ICQ, to VCQ is equal to VCC minus ICQ RC. If you substitute the value, VCC that is 12 volt, ICQ 2.35 milliampere, and RC that is 2.2 kilo ohm. So VCEQ is equal to 6.83 volt. Now VCE is known, so one can find out the VBC. In order to find out this voltage of VBC, you have to find out the value of VB, you have to find out the value of VC. Okay, so this VB minus VC is equal to VBC. Okay, so we know that VBE is equal to VB minus VE, and we know that VE is equal to 0 because there is no voltage drop at the emitter. So VB is equal to VB, that is giving the 0.7 volt. That means this voltage at the base, that is equal to 0.7 volt. Okay, and similarly VCE is equal to 6.83. So VC is equal to VC minus VE. VE is equal to 0, so VC is equal to 6.83 volt. So VB is equal to 0.7 and VC is equal to 6.83. So we can find out the VBC. So VBC is equal to VB minus VC, that is 0.7 minus 6.83 volt. That is VBC equal to minus 6.13 volt. That means this voltage, base voltage minus collector voltage, that is base collector voltage drop, that is basically negative. That means this junction is a reverse bias, and that is what we require for common emitter transistor for a amplification purpose. So this configuration is called as a fixed bias configuration. Okay, so now let us move forward. Let us try to draw the DC load line for fixed bias configuration. So if you draw the DC load line, we know in order to draw the DC load line, we have to draw the output characteristics curve. In an output characteristics curve, if we have two extreme points, one point on y-axis, another point on x-axis, then we can draw the DC load line. And the intersection point of DC load line and output characteristics curve for a given particular value of base current, that is basically called as a Q point. Okay, so the process remains same. So in order to draw the DC load line, we have to apply Kirchhoff voltage law. As I have explained earlier also, we have to apply Kirchhoff voltage law in output loop or in collector emitter loop. So if you apply Kirchhoff voltage law in this loop, so IC current is flowing, so plus ICRC plus VCE minus the another end of the, that is minus VCC. Minus VCC equal to 0. So VCE is equal to, we can write, that is VCC minus ICRC. So this is the equation. And this equation can be written in terms of y is equal to mx plus c. I have explained earlier. So once we have to assume the IC is equal to 0, so that will give the VCE. And another condition, if we assume VC is equal to 0, that will give the IC. So when IC is equal to 0, that is giving VC, that is cutoff point. So this is giving this point. So that is for given value of IC, VC is equal to VC plus VC, that is for IC is equal to 0, that is one cutoff point. So this is on x-axis. And similarly, for given value of IC is equal to VC is equal to 0, that will give the IC. So IC is equal to plus VCC upon RC, that is for VC is equal to 0. So this is another point. So this is point, this point. So one coordinate is 0 VCC and 0. Another coordinate is 0 VCC upon RC. And if you draw the straight line, that is known as the DC load line. So this is DC load line for fixed bias configuration. This is how one can draw. Similarly, let us try to understand, examine how the DC load line basically changes when you change the different parameter in fixed bias configuration. For example, if you see this fixed bias configuration, if you see this equation, this output equation, that is VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC. Or if you see the Q point, the Q point is basically VCE and IC. So that means IC, if you see the IC depend on which parameter, IC depend on IB or beta. It means, and IC, one Q point of your fixed bias configuration depend upon IB, that is base current, and this base current depend upon RB. Okay, that means there are three variable in your transistor. Another Q point is that is VCE. So out of VCE, VCC is basically if you keep constant, so IC is constant, then RC is another parameter. So it means there are three variable in this circuit. One is RB, another is RC, another is VCC. Okay, so by playing this with the value of VCC, RB, and RC, when we are playing with the RC, that means we are changing the IC. When we are changing the value of RB, that means we are changing the value of IB. That means, and whenever we talk, we will discuss in terms of IB, that is input current. So that is why I have drawn the DC load line and Q point for different value of base current. So that means if you change the different base current IB1, IB2, IB3, IB4 by IB5 by just changing the base resistance, see how your Q point is changing from cutoff point to the saturation point. So this is cutoff point and this is saturation point. So by increasing the value of base current, one can move your Q point from cutoff point to the saturation point. Similarly, and remember, for doing this, we have fixed the value of VCC and we have fixed the value of RC. For a fixed value of VCC and for fixed value of RC, if you change the value of RB, that means if you change the base current, then your Q point will move from cutoff point to the saturation point. Similarly, if you do the same thing just by keeping base current as a constant and you change the collector resistance, that is RC1, RC2, RC3. If you change the collector resistance RC1, RC2, RC3, then your saturation point will change and this cutoff point will remain same. Then your Q point will basically change, shift like for a given value of base current, it will move from again from active region to the saturation region, but it is moving from right to left side because your saturation point is changing. Okay, similarly if you change the uh, another parameter, that is VCC, that is battery VCC1 and VCC2 rather than VCC1 to VCC2 to VCC3 by keeping other parameter constant like base current constant and RC constant, then you are also changing the both point cutoff point and saturation point because cutoff points depend upon VCC and saturation point also depend upon VCC. So you are drawing different DC load line for different value. That in that case also your Q point is changing from right to left. That means your Q point on for a given fixed bias configuration depend upon three parameters, that is input current, collector resistance, and your bias DC power supply. So in this way your Q point is changing from one point to another point. So let us try to solve one numerical problem related to the Q point. So if you see the numerical problem which is based on the Q point, so given the load line of shown in figure and define Q point and determine the required value of VCC, RC and RB for fixed bias configuration. So you are given with the input characteristics curve. Okay. So this VCC, VCE on x-axis, IC on y-axis. So here your characteristics curve is drawn for different value of base current IB 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and Q point is marked here and cutoff point is given, that is 20 volt and that is IC saturation, that is 10 milliampere. That means by looking this characteristics curve one can find out the value of VCC because this is cutoff point and this cutoff point is basically we know that is VCE cutoff is equal to plus VCC. That means the DC power supply in fixed bias configuration that is equal to plus 20 volt. And if this is plus 20 volt, so we know this is IC collector current, saturation collector current, IC saturation is equal to plus VCC upon RC. So we know that VCC is known, so we can calculate the RC. So IC is here known, that IC is how much, that is 10 ampere. So RC is equal to VCC upon IC, that is 20 upon 10 milliampere, that is 2 kilo ohm. That means the DC power supply is 20 volt and RC, that is collector resistance, that is 2 kilo ohm. Now this is known, then one can find out the base resistance, because your base current or input current is given, because Q point is defined here. The Q point is defined for how much base current? This is 20 and this is 30. That means Q point is this is middle between 30 and 20. That is 25. That means this Q point is defined for 25 microampere base current. That means IB is equal to 25 microampere. The IB is known. We know this equation, IB is equal to VCC minus VB upon RB. So we can find out RB. RB is equal to VCC minus VB upon IB. RB is equal to 772 kilo ohm. So in this way, the problem remains same. This problem and this problem, both problems are same, but here this problem is asked in different way. Here characteristics curve is given, and you have to draw the fixed bias configuration, and you have to write the value of VCC, RC, and unknown value RB on the circuit diagram. But here you are given with the circuit diagram, and it may be asked to draw the DC load line and determine the all Q points in the transistor. So this is how one can approach the numerical problem based on the fixed bias configuration or base bias configuration. Okay. So let us try to understand, let's try to know some of the advantage and disadvantage and application of the fixed bias configuration. So in fixed bias configuration, the operating point can shift easily anywhere in active region by merely changing the base resistance. As I discussed here, if you change the base resistance, that means you are changing the base current. So you can change the Q point in active region from cutoff to up to the saturation point from anywhere in active region. Okay, so this is one advantage. Even you can change the Q point by changing this value also, collector resistance and DC power supply also. So you can change that. You have advantage of doing this. A very small number of components are required. You see here, for fixed bias configuration, you require only base resistance, collector resistance, you require a plus VCC power supply, and the three component and one transistor. So that device, this is very easy to fabricate. This is advantage of fixed bias configuration. And disadvantage, the major disadvantage of fixed bias configuration is poor stabilization. So this bias configuration, fixed bias configuration is good. Apart from the several two or three advantages, it is having a poor stability with respect to temperature. So stability factor, as I discussed in my one lecture, that S for common emitter transistor, that is beta plus, that is del IC upon change in collector current with respect to change in leakage current, that is del IC upon del ICO is equal to beta plus 1 divided by 1 minus beta del IB upon del IC. And for fixed bias configuration, if you see here, for fixed bias configuration, this IB base current does not depend upon the collector current. If you see here, for fixed bias configuration, this base current depend upon only base resistance and VBE, and it does not depend upon the collector current. So that means del IB upon del IC, that will be equal to 0. If this is equal to 0, so the stability factor for fixed bias configuration, that is equal to beta plus 1. So that means S is equal to beta plus 1. That means del IC upon del IC is equal to ICO is equal to beta plus 1. It means del IC is equal to beta plus 1 times del ICO. That means if you change one, let us say 1 milliampere or 1 milliampere leakage current, so that will drastically change the beta plus 1 times collector current will change. So that means that is why your transistor is not stabilized with respect to temperature. That is major disadvantage of fixed bias configuration. Applications, due to above inherent drawback because of the poor stabilization, fixed bias is rarely used in linear circuit, those circuit which is used for the which uses the transistor as a current source. Okay, instead it is often used in circuit where transistor is used as a switch. So this fixed bias configuration is basically used where transistor is used as a switch, but it is not used in a current source. So this is applications. And so how the Q point is affected by changing the VBE in ICBO in fixed bias configuration, we know that whatever I have explained, the base current IB is equal to VCC minus VB upon RB. Okay, and this IC is equal to IB upon beta into IB. So if you change the VBE Okay, if you change the VBE, that means that will change the IB. If you change the IB, that will change the IC. That IC is basically one of the Q points. So if that is why you have to stabilize the transistor with respect to temperature in fixed bias configuration, and that is why I have mentioned that this is showing the poor stabilization. And if you see the ICBO, so IC is equal to beta IB plus ICO, and we know this ICEO can be written as beta IB plus 1 beta plus 1 ICBO. So if you change this ICBO or ICU, that is leakage current, if you change this ICBO, so that will change the IC. And I discussed, IC is basically one of the collector current, that is one of the Q point. If IC is 10, so obviously VC is changed. VC is another a Q point of your transistor. These are the few drawback of the fixed bias configuration. So in order to remove these drawback of fixed bias configuration, another transistor biasing has emerged, that is called as a emitter bias configuration. So in case of emitter bias configuration, if you just connect a resistor at the emitter, okay, in fixed bias configuration. So this circuit diagram is quite similar to the fixed bias configuration. Just you connect a resistor at the emitter, so that is called as the emitter bias configuration. So this topic will be covered in coming lectures. So with this, I thank you all for listening me carefully, and please keep watching my YouTube channel for update topics. Thanking you very much for listening me carefully.